Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question comes to us from the True Stories collection, and it was suggested by my friend Chris. Amy plays a hostage taker and steals Nick's grizzly bears. Then, Amy wants to play grizzly bears, but Nick wants to play a lightning bolt against the hostage taker to get his bear back. Who gets to act first? Okay, so anytime you see a question of the form, who gets to cast a spell first, you should definitely be thinking about timing and priority. One of the 4 determining rules for who has priority is that anytime a spell or ability resolves, the first person to get priority is the active player. In other words, the player whose turn it is. That means Amy gets to cast Grizzly Bears before Nick gets to cast Lightning Bolt. Nick could, of course, cast the bolt against the hostage taker in response, but by that time the bear has moved to the stack, so he would not get it back. In case you're wondering, priority progresses in turn order. So if Nick and some third player both wanted to cast a spell at the same time, whoever's turn was coming up soonest would get to act first. Okay, so if you're Nick, maybe you don't like that answer, and you're thinking you could use something like this silence to tip the scales in your favor. If you silence in response to the hostage taker spell, or in response to its ETB ability, then Amy won't be able to cast the bear, meaning that even though Amy gets the first chance to act, she can't do anything with it. You could then bolt as normal to get the bear back. But I've got good news for Nick, which is that he doesn't even need the silence. Maybe you picked this up if you saw my video about how Oblivion Ring and Banishing Light are different, but the way Hostage Taker is worded, the targeted creature doesn't even change zones at all if Hostage Taker dies or otherwise leaves the battlefield before its ability resolves. So a bolt in response to the Hostage Taker ETB ability will save the Grizzly Bears from Amy's evil clutches. Definitely read the cards carefully though, because as I noted in that video, there are other ways this sort of ability has been worded historically, and not all of them interact with Nick so favorably for this sort of a play. There's one last thing that might help Nick out here. Let's say instead of a Grizzly Bears, Nick's creature was a Thragtusk. Then when Hostage Taker exiles it, Thragtusk leaves the battlefield ability will trigger. Because of how triggered abilities work, that ability will go on the stack before Amy gets a chance to cast Thragtusk. It's not normally possible to cast a creature spell while there's something on the stack, so Amy will have to wait until the stack is clear in order to cast Thragtusk. On the other hand, Lightning Bolt is an instant, so there's no problem at all with Nick playing that in response to Thragtusk's ability. If Nick bolts the Hostage Taker like this, he'll get the Thragtusk back, get the Beast token, and gain 5 life too. Quite a blowout. That's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.